The shir is entitled The Halachot of Shnaim Mikra-reading Targum. The fact is that some mitzvahs have more mazel than others. Yishuv Haaretz has been pretty much out of fashion for almost 2,000 years. Baruch Hashem, in 1800s picked up again. Other mitzvot don't have such luck. Bracha that we say in benching, someone who's a guest at someone's house. The Gemara, the Shulchan Aruch, Yehi Ratzon Shelo Yivash Baal Habayit Hazeh V'lo B'lam V'zeh V'lo B'lam B'aba. It's an open halacha, and it wasn't said. Baruch Hashem, the last couple of decades, it made a comeback. Shnaim Mikra, the chiyuv, to go for a man to read through the Parsha 2 times, every pasuk, and then read the Tirgum, the Onkelos, or the Rashi, or ideally both, that mitzvah, I think, is not as popular as it should. The Gemara in Brachot says on Daf Chet, La'olam yashem adam parshiyotav v'matzibur. A person must complete the Parsha with the tzibur, and the Shulchan Aruch language in Reish Pei Hei is chayav. One is chayav, obligated to read the Parsha twice, every pasuk, and then read either Tirgum, Onkelos, or Rashi, or both, ideally. So it's a halacha, it's an absolute chiyuv from the rabbis. So we wash before we eat bread, we daven mareh, we say brachot, these are all rabbinic decrees. So we do Shnaim Mikra. So it may be that it's not as popular as it should be, because it's hard and it's long. And let's face it, Parsha Breshit, 146 psukim. If one doesn't understand Aramaic and cannot do Tirgum, Onkelos, so he has to do the Rashi. Rashi can be 5, 6, 7 hours. Person says, that's too much. So the fact is, if we have the basic halacha, it could be a lot shorter. The Aruch HaShulchan writes that it's not clear from the early authorities how exactly it has to be done. Do we read pasuk targum? Do we read paragraph? It's called the Parsha Ptucha, Parsha Stuma. Those are paragraphs. So you do paragraph, and then the Tirgum. Do we do the whole Sedra twice and then Tirgum? He says it's not clear from the poskim, and a person can do either way. He said it's also not clear if you have to do Tirgum only after you read the Parsha twice, which means it's a very big leniency. You read the whole Parsha before Shabbat or Friday night, and then you do Onkelos or the Tirgum, which we'll discuss in a moment, and then Shabbat morning, you're listening to the Chazan anyway. The Baal Korah is going to read the whole Parsha. So let's say Breshit, 146 psukim. You're going to be sitting listening anyway to the Baal Korah read 146 psukim. So read it quietly along with him. So you don't say the mitzvah of listen to Kriyas Torah. And you also have a Mikra, which means that sometime during the week you had a Kriya once, and then you did a Tirgum, and then on Shabbat you did your second Mikra. And the Aruch HaShulchan quotes the Levush and says that it's fine. And the Aruch HaShulchan actually holds not just Levush, other shittas hold the same way. So right away we save a lot of times. How much does it take to read a whole Parsha? 25 minutes. A long Parsha, 130 seconds, 20 minutes, 25%, not that long. But what about the Tirgum? That's the challenging part. As we said, if you read Rashi, a big Parsha could be hours. How many schools where Kitabet or Gimel Dal, whatever class, is learning Breshit, they can spend months and months going through all the Rashis. So you can do that in a week, it's going to be hours. Rav Moshe does say they could do it in English Rashi, but it's still. So you could do a Tirgum. And you say, I don't understand it. So the fact is, you could read the Tirgum, and while you're reading the Tirgum, any word you don't understand, you look either at the Chumash in Hebrew, or you look at the English, the Art Scroll English translation, or the whatever translation you're reading, and you keep reading through the Onkelos with an eye on those words in the Chumash or in the English to help you understand what the Tirgum is saying. And it's a little bit cumbersome, but if you do this enough, your Aramaic is going to improve, and you're going to understand Onkelos better and better and better. And each week that goes by, you read more and more psukim in the Onkelos, and you'll understand what it's saying without even having to look at the English Chumash to understand what the Tirgum is saying, or to have to look at the Chumash itself. And when you read 100 psukim, on average Parsha is 100 psukim, and you read 100 psukim in Tirgum, so if you could run through the psukim with the Chumash in 20, 25 minutes, so Tirgum read 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. So we're talking about during the week time, an hour or so, hour and a half. It's not a big block of time, that's just too much. Person, of course, could do the Rashi as well, and then 7, 8 hours, and do the Onkelos Kol HaKavod. But I'm talking about at least a way to fulfill the basic minimum chiyuv of Shnaim Mikra-reading Targum, and here's a way. To read the psukim during the week sometime, or Friday night, read the Onkelos, and the more you read the Onkelos, the more you keep looking at either the Chumash pasuk or the translation, whatever you need to understand what Onkelos is saying. You may not always get 100% of the Onkelos, but you get a lot of it. Chaim Kanievsky says you are Yotzi if you understand, even if you don't understand every word. Then you do another laning of the whole Parsha with the Chazan Balkori in the morning, and then you have Shnaim Mikra, not for 7, 8 hours of work, but an hour, hour and a half. And the bottom line is it's a chiyuv, it's an obligation. Mitzvah Hashem, Tavshin Ayin Ched should be a year where this mitzvah, the Shnaim Mikra Targum, is not an orphan mitzvah, but it's a loved mitzvah, which Chazal say that a person does this every week, Hashem grants him long life, long years and long days. Shalom.